All right, now let's watch a more out there video just for the fun of it.
Lone Star ticks are bad. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna watch a video about that today. Actually, you want to watch that first? Let's watch that first. Actually, we got the Alex Jones video about it.
Lone Star tick spreading all over the country. That they admit
All over
now
the
has
country.
this weaponized Lyme disease that they declassified, the CIA created. That's the CIA declassified that about a month ago. We already knew decades ago and told you that.
Yep.
And they've added to it a beef allergy, another red meat allergy, so that if you get bitten by the tick, you become deathly ill or even die if you ever eat beef again. And then we have the WF and UN 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, saying we're going to add this to ticks, and that way nobody can eat beef.
People eat.
Knowing the ESF's history, the deep state, it's all against inflation, propping up the dollar, and convincing or forcing a large part of your population to not eat meat reduces food inflation because people eat bread that's cheaper to make. And yeah, I totally see why they'd want to do this. Have they actually done it? Let's see.
Eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would it would actually really help the planet.
This guy's a piece of shit, by the way.
But
yeah, and I can tell you the real reason for doing this isn't to help the planet. It's to help the dollar. It's to help the dollar and to avoid inflation in the United States. It has nothing to do with helping the planet. Zero for the planet.
People are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to.
Yeah, do you see like how fucking authoritarian these people are? People aren't going to be willing.
The same thing like during Iran-Contra when CIA all around the world in places like Nicaragua just destabilized governments and destroyed their currencies to replace it with the dollar. It was the justification was, oh, we're doing it to fight communists, but real reason was doing it was to fight inflation in the United States. You print $1 billion and $1 billion disappears overseas to Nicaragua. No inflation in the United States. All these conspiracies, they all have one thing in common. They're always to reduce inflation, to prop up the dollar. That's always their effects. That's the common theme across practically every conspiracy. It's always about the dollar.
This is literally like this is literal like Nazi levels of thinking. This is unreal. Like this guy is like, people want to eat.
Oh, by the way, this guy might honestly believe that. By the way, that he's doing it to save the planet. But the reason he's receiving funding, the reason that this is being researched at all, and that this is happening, is because there are powerful forces out there that want to prop up the dollar and want to reduce meat consumptions to lower food inflation. That's the underlying reason. He might be just deluded that he's doing it for a planet, but he's getting the same cash that was used to destabilize governments around the world, and it's dirty cash.
Eat meat. I don't want them to eat meat, so I'm going to infect everyone with a disease that makes them like allergic to meat. Like, what a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Like, this is like the most asshole-ish shit ever.
But they have a weak.
Like, this guy needs to be put in a box. Like, actually, like for real. Like, this guy's in a position of power. Like, this is scary. They need to watch this guy and like find out what he's doing.
Weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, these
are the kind of people that radicalize these people, SMH, infecting meat to make them not want to eat anymore. That's literally attempted murder. I know, it's so annoying.
May be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine.
This guy is such a fucking asshole. Like, actually, like,
I'm happy to report I have no allergies of any type. There's some foods that I hate to eat because they taste terrible, but I can eat anything.
Like this,
except powdered beans that can rot in hell.
This way of thinking is actually so fucking awful in so many ways. It's so disgusting, like on so many levels.
Bovine proteins, and there's actually
an actual movie villain. It's like the dude from the Kingsman, like either the first Kingsman movie. It's like that.
Thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you will become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that.
Yes, and it could kill people. It will kill people. Someone will get bitten, don't know they're allergic to meat, eat meat, and die. To the extent that you worked and cooperated to release something like this, if it happened, you're basically a murderer.
How we can do it through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
And then right on time, Pfizer seeks to introduce Lyme.
doing big world problems. You know what would also work to make people not eat meat? Put a gun to their head and say, if you eat meat, you die. I mean, that's what's the difference between that and giving them a disease that might kill them and probably have long-term bad health effects and makes them not able to eat meat. Oh, it's terrible.
James vaccine as states face worst tick season ever. Increase in alpha-gal syndrome meat. How many years ago did I tell you? Decades ago.
Yeah, by the way, you gotta be careful, guys. There's a ton of ticks right now. They're everywhere. Like, apparently. I don't know. I've never been bit by a tick. God bless. But they're fucking everywhere, apparently. So be careful.
I spend most of my day indoors, so I'm okay.
Alpha-gal syndrome is coming. Told you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Did dozens of shows the last few years saying, watch, it's spreading everywhere. Ticks are showing up thousands of miles of where they were because they're being dropped out. Turns out the CIA developed this at Plum Island. I'll show you the news articles. They took the Nazi scientists at Plum Island off New York after World War II, weaponized syphilis, called it Lyme disease, put it in ticks. Now they've added this other pathogen with it, and the syphilis is the carrier for the alpha-gal syndrome. What foods can trigger reactions? Beef, pork, lamb, venison. People on the street, all over the corporate news.
What is this?
Other pathogen.
Sorry, I'm just looking. Where's this document that we're looking at right here come from? What does it? Lone Star tick bites and meat allergy. And this is probably a real thing. Yeah, this is intentional. If there's really a thing where tick bites cause meat allergies, then that was intentionally done. 100%. It's not a miracle of nature that came out this way. It's someone engineered it and then released the ticks. If this is what's actually happening.
5 years ago, 3 years ago. Did dozens of shows last. Turns out the CIA developed this at Plum Island. I'll show you the news articles. They took the Nazi scientists at Plum Island off New York after World War II, weaponized syphilis, called it Lyme disease, put it in ticks. Now they've added this other pathogen with it, and the syphilis is the carrier for the alpha-gal syndrome. What foods can trigger reactions? Beef, pork, lamb, venison. People on the street, all over the corporate news, independent news, everywhere are talking about how the CIA at Plum Island created weaponized syphilis, tick-borne, known as Lyme's. That was known decades ago. It's now been fully declassified a month ago.
Really?
Deer swam from Plum Island, they said, by accident, that had the ticks and put it on the mainland decades ago. No.
Wait, they invented Lyme disease? What? Is that real? Hold on. Hey, yo, Grok, is this true? Is it true that it's been declassified? Dude, I'm actually way more willing to believe shit that Alex Jones says. Like, dude, stuff that Alex Jones said is wrong for like a couple years.
That's a good thing that you're more willing to believe stuff that Alex Jones says. The bad part is that Alex Jones says stuff about aliens. That's the bad part. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. The rest, a lot of the rest is okay, but not the alien stuff. Don't believe that.
Years. And then it was like, oh, actually, it was true the whole time. Oh my God. Oh my God. 1960s CIA operation allegedly involved releasing infected ticks onto Cuba. Dude, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? U.S. did research biological weapons with tick vectors.
Oh, they're spreading these things. They're releasing these things. There's even Bill Gates projects studying them and releasing them in the wild, just like he does the mosquitoes. We have it all here, okay? You want the full spectrum analysis, because most people just cover a piece of it, and that's bad enough. Big Pharma coming out with, Lone Star tick vaccines that have all these horrible side effects. But people are now dying who've been bit by the tick when they eat beef. And then we have the UN, the WF, and others in documents and reports going back 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I've got the video clips and the reports on TV going, well, we can just give a tick now, this particular pathogen through the Lone Star tick, and then we will give you a violent meat allergy so you can't eat beef.
Oh, this is real. This meat tick. And if it's real, it was intentional. 100%. Now, you heard the guy talking in the video. It was done. And it releases on large scale, force thousands of people to not eat meat, and you are reducing inflation, food inflation, by ruining people's lives.
The weird thing about this is, like, you didn't really hear of this before, right? Like, you didn't hear about this before. I haven't heard about this until recently.
Really bad with beef, but it's other red meats. But that's the main red meat people eat. Lamb.
Because the media is part of it. The Exchange Stabilization Fund, people behind that, trying to protect the dollar, release something like this to make people not be able to eat meat. Of course, the media under their control is not going to cover it. It's going to the very minimum media coverage, because all their scams, the media always cooperates in furthering them and covering them up. Yeah, you don't think he believes in aliens anymore? Well, that would be good if he doesn't believe in aliens anymore. He hasn't talked about aliens in some of the videos I've watched recently, which is, if he's not talking about them, all the better. Because a lot of things he talks about are true to some extent. He does exaggerate sometimes. You have to take that in mind, too. He does exaggerate. And I'm sure there's things he gets wrong. So take those two with a grain of thought. But the overall theories or points he puts out are often true.
You name it. I mean, you're talking, and I know so many people that particularly work in ranching in Wisconsin.
No, I don't believe I poured through so many documents during my time researching back at 2000. There would be indications if something is happening. You can see patterns. You can see things. If there were actual aliens, where would be some alien technologies? There would be some technologies that you can't explain its source. There is none of that. We can't, in this Iran war, we would be using some advanced technologies there, but we aren't. So, no. And the deep state, the dollar wouldn't be if there truly were aliens, then the dollar wouldn't be heading towards off a cliff. They'd have some magical technology to save it.
In Texas, you name it, Tennessee, personally, who got bit by the Lone Star tick and now can't eat beef. I mean, this is sick. I'm telling you, in my hierarchy of stuff, for fleshly pleasures, a perfectly cooked steak is right up there with the best.
If I did get infected by that tick and not be able to eat meat, I would personally make it my mission to find whoever released that and just do the research necessary to figure out who it was. And I'd try to do it legally. When the time came in dollar collapse, I'd make sure the fury of the world falls squarely on that person.
Piece of ass you can get. I'm sorry. I mean,
Fucking Alex Jones. Alex Jones has the best fucking quotes.
Yeah. Terrible, and more likely to be bitten by a tick is the rancher who's outside all day.
In my hierarchy of stuff, for fleshly pleasures, a perfectly cooked steak is right up there with the best piece of ass you can get. I'm sorry to be graphic. I mean, that's like taking away women. I mean, this is just absolutely. These people are the most evil scum you can imagine.
They are.
In Genesis talks about cows like 50 times and how cows are the best and how wonderful they are. Now God gave them the grass to have the cows, and the cows a gift to us. And the Indian Hindus worship the
Alex Jones, he is entertaining.
things. I mean, you just give them grass, you get milk, and you get cheese. And
Though he's not really wrong too, right? Because it's not just beef, right? It's like beef, it's lamb, it's venison, it's pork, and like these are just so good. Like I had a pork chop for dinner and it was like delicious. It was like so good.
Yep.
Like you get like a good like piece of pork chop, like a really good one, like a well marbled one. Like,
Bison too, probably.
Fat cap, like oh my god, it's so delicious, right? And it's like chicken just doesn't have anything on it. Like chicken is good, fish is good. Like these are fine. Like they're not.
Chicken's okay. Fish, I'm more neutral on. It depends how it's cooked.
Not terrible, but like if you put like an
I
equivalent.
like sushi.
Even equivalently cooked, like cooked to the same level, a piece of chicken and then a piece of pork or beef or like a steak, there's no fucking way I'm picking the chicken. Alex Jones isn't wrong that it's one of the pleasures in life, and these people want to take it away again, like everything, because they want everyone to be
Sirloin steak,
miserable like them. Some people have
perfectly
food allergies,
cooked.
so instead of solving those, let's create new horrifying ones. Yeah, right. Like let's eat. I mean, if you think about it, that's equity, isn't it? Ain't that equity? Let's just handicap everybody.
you get butter, and you get
Everything that cows make is fucking delicious. Like like the cheese is like super good. The milk is super good. The butter, like man, like everything's good from cows. Like what the fuck? Wait, does alpha gal affect cheese too? No fucking way. Does it? Does it affect butter, milk, and cheese? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
beef. I mean,
Leaflit, we just looked at the infographic just 5 minutes ago that clearly explained it. See? Can trigger. Beef, pork, lamb, venison. Not likely trigger. Poultry, fish, eggs, milk. Remember the video you watched, Leaflit.
One of the pleasures in life, and these people want to take it away again, like everything, because they want everyone to be miserable like them. Some people have food allergies, so instead of solving those, let's create new horrifying ones. Yeah, right. Like let's eat. I mean, if you think about it, that's equity, isn't it? Ain't that equity? Let's just handicap everybody.
you get butter, and you get
Everything that cows make is fucking delicious. Like the cheese is like super good. The milk is super good. The butter, like, man, like everything's good from cows. Like, what the fuck? Wait, does alpha gal affect cheese too? No fucking way. Does it? Does it affect butter, milk? and
No,
cheese?
it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. I don't think so.
Beef, I mean, it's just the Native Americans with the bison, it's just a wild cow. Well, how do we take out the Native Americans, the Plains Indians? We took out their meat supply. So I am uber sick of these people. But
Dude,
now
me
they've
too.
done it. They've launched it. I've been on there 32 years, but I was fascinated with globalists and transhumanism and the futurists and what they were planning since I was a little kid. My family was aware of it and always talking about it. I was reading some Zbigniew Brzezinski books when I was 10 years old, and they would always,
What the hell is this?
and even when he was a college professor of history, even Newt Gingrich wrote a book.
Is that is Leaflit's clicker? Yes, it looks like a little hand. Weird clicker.
Like, I tried, see people talking about vegans in chat. I tried the Impossible Whopper.
Vegans, exactly. It's just when the ESF wants to try to manipulate inflation down and leverage its control over the media to change behaviors so that inflation is lower. What does it do? Veganism. Don't eat meat. Don't eat poultry. Don't eat. Every vegan or every convert into veganism lowers inflation by lowering demand for meat. And it's what do you want if you want people to have less kids? What do? Well, LGBT everywhere in schools. Push it hard. Trans. Convince people to go irreversible operations that remove their ability to have children. That's what you do if you want to reduce the population. You don't just and you create the ideologies behind these things to sell them to the people, and you push them via the school and colleges you control and the media.
Those impossible like meat like substitute like burgers. So like I went to I distinctly remember.
Oh no, it's a huge thing. I've looked at it, like all the meat fraud, the pink slime, the meat glue, all that, everything that they can, like meat that used to be used for dogs, then repackaged for humans. That lowers inflation. It's honestly, it's that is the vector for everything. Is because people don't realize how much inflation is tied to government spending in so many ways, like Social Security, inflation adjusted. Food inflation goes up. Government needs to write out bigger checks to people for Social Security. And all other things, like the military. If food cost increase and decreases cost, it affects everything. And also huge amount of... But then it also affects interest rates. And that certainly affects the government. No, just reducing food inflation by a couple of 0.1, 0.2, 0.3%, that could save the government long-term trillions of dollars.
I was like on my way to Japan, and I stopped at a Burger King with my mom at the airport. And so we're at the airport, just like sitting there. I was like, oh, like we haven't eaten yet. Oh, there's a Burger King there. And I look at it and they're like, oh, we have the new Impossible Burger. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I wonder what that tastes like. I wonder what the Impossible Burger tastes like. Because I've never had it, right? Like maybe it tastes kind of good, right? So I walk up to the counter.
No, the thing is, it takes like enough food for 10 people, like 10 times the grain for 1 pound of meat. So like you need 10 pounds of like bread to get the equivalent of 1 pound of meat. It's very inefficient in terms of producing food for human consumption. You could feed, if everyone in the world stopped eating meat, you could feed, the world population could double or more, because we'd have so much more food. Of course, giving up meat, that's terrible. Meat tastes great, but I'm just saying it's inefficient in terms of, if you're thinking just to maximize feeding the most amount of people, feed everyone with bread is more efficient than meat.
Said, yeah, I'd like to get an Impossible Burger. Yeah, and the guy's like, okay, all right. So he rings me up, and I'm like, yeah, can I get another patty on that? Another Impossible patty? I'm like, no, a regular beef patty. I need to cancel out how gay this burger is. And then he gave me it. So I had an Impossible Burger with an Impossible patty and then a regular beef patty. And I tried the Impossible one. It wasn't bad. Like,
well, yes, you can feed cows on grass and stuff like that. It's not exact science, but at the margins, yes, there's some farmers that feed their cattle on grass, but there's some that feed their cattle on grain and corn, and that is the first place that'll those farms, not family ranchers, the big mega corporations that don't have free roaming cattle, that just buy grain in bulk and just corn and feed that to their cattle, they're the first ones that will cut down the size of their herd if demand for meat goes down. And then there'll be more grain. It will more than... The effect is it'll lower demand. It'll drastically increase the supply of grain. And it'll bring down the price of grain too. So making people vegan lowers the price of basically all foods. Because it lowers the amount of grain that's being redirected towards cattle.
It actually wasn't bad. Like for like real analysis of it, it wasn't terrible. Like it actually was like meaty enough, but like, you know, it still wasn't the same. Like I still wouldn't get it. Like I could eat it. Like is it edible? Sure, but you know, so is Diet Coke, right? So that's how I feel about it, really. But anyway, you know what's weird though is like I don't even hate veggie burgers, really. Like, you know how they have those garden burgers? You guys remember Garden Burger? Like Garden Burger was pretty good. Like I thought it was okay. It's like not terrible. Like I could eat a garden burger for the flavor of the garden burger, but I'm like, why you gotta make it like meat? You know what I mean? Like, why you gotta make it exactly like meat? It's just weird. Like, what the fuck? What is this obsession?
Another reason you can tell that veganism is deep state operation is the dishonesty in pushing it. Like, if you look at the history about how they've been very deceptive in their practices, and also in their operations, like FEMA, I believe puts down more dogs and cats than the pound by far, as one example. They don't behave like an organization concerned for animals and animal cruelty. They behave like an organization designed to change behavior of the public.
Just eat meat, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Back in the late 80s, where
Garden veggie burgers. Did they used to have these at Trader Joe's?
Yeah, right there. He confirms it.
Late 80s, where he said,
garden veggie.
See, that's Leaflit's clicker. That weird little thing there.
Veggie burgers. They used to have these at Trader Joe's. I remember they had like this Trader Joe's. It was like a harvest veggie burger from Trader Joe's, and it was like had like oats and like mushrooms in it. It was pretty delicious. It didn't really taste like it. It didn't really taste like a burger, but it was its own separate thing that was delicious. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's not meat. And like, you know, sometimes I feel like eating fish, even though fish isn't as good as beef. Like I'd rather have beef almost every time. I'd rather have pork almost every time. But, you know, sometimes I feel like eating fish.
I'd be happy living off hamburgers.
Just in the mood, you know, or I'm in the mood for chicken sometimes. It's fine being its own distinct thing, is what I'm trying to say.
So I was reading some Zbigniew Brzezinski books when I was 10 years old, and they would always, and even when he was a college professor of history, even Newt Gingrich wrote a book back in the late 80s where he said, we're going to genetically engineer humans, and we're going to use high-tech vaccines to do it. Everybody will have microchips hooked into computers. So
and see, I have no problem. Like, honestly, this is my honest take. I have no problem with genetically engineering humans. Like, if you want to, like, you want to get some shit done or something to, like, boost your stats, like, I'm totally fine with that. But, like, it being forced is fucking weird. Like, that's where it's weird. It's like what they want to do, this sort of weird rapey thing where they force you to do it. And that's awful. Yeah. I think that's awful.
Gingrich acts like a good guy and says a lot of good things, but he's definitely one of them. So I've known about their theoretical plans for a long time, but we're not in theoretical plans now. Just last week,
let's start experimenting with genetically engineered cat girls. I mean, 100%.
But we're not in theoretical plans now. Just last week, the Netherlands is set to pass a law to make human clones legal, and
we got to get this thing. All right, guys, hear me out.
I'm just thinking if they actually tried to do human cat girls, that would turn into some. Oh, I can see that going horribly badly. In that, you see, animals have this thing called instinct that the species has, and I don't think you can just bring over cat ears without bringing over instincts and fucking over the human mind at the same time. So, and you'd have horror stories and people not behaving like humans anymore. Hopefully we don't get cat girls as much as some people might want to get them.
Hear me out. If we're going to start this thing, we need to start with something that everyone can feel the impact of. And what we need to do is we need genetically engineered cat girls that also have a thing that makes it so you can't get fat. What do you think, Chat? I think my idea is really fucking good, to be honest. Like, I think this is an amazing idea.
Because two men want to have a baby, so...
I think patents on human genes, yes, should be illegal. Absolutely. Yeah.
Really be a human, but we'll splice their genetics, and we'll also put animal genes in if it helps. Human-animal hybrids. I mean, it's like passing laws to do it. Of course, they've already done it in laboratories. So we are so far into the future, it's just not evenly distributed. And people hear this stuff and it sounds crazy. I don't blame you. I think it's true, but it is. So
This forcing, Ryan Ellis says this forcing thing feels almost sci-fi, like something like from a Michael Crichton novel. Dude, that's the part that scares me. Like it should be opt-in, right? It should be 100% opt-in. Like I have no problem with somebody opting in for some bullshit, right? Yeah. Beef is also better nutrients per pound, and meat has stuff that you can't get through plants. Look at how many supplements vegan vegetarians need to even remain healthy. Dude, that is actually a really interesting point, because a lot of times people who go on these full vegan diets, they end up really unhealthy, like really bad. Like
Yeah, they're unhealthy. The vegan, and they are. It's happened several times, way too many times, that babies die because they're given soy milk. Way too many times. Vegan kills people, and those are just in terms of the deep state conspiracies. That it's on the amount of people it harms is on the lower side of things, but it's still killing people.
usually, and they just feel like shit all the time, you know?
been obsessed with getting us off of beef for at least 70 years, the Club of Rome. There's a lot of reasons for that, but if you study the whole world.
No, it's because of the dollar. It's because of inflation. It's not the population control, all that. It's not about benefiting the world. It's to prop up the dollar to reduce food inflation.
Where cows are in Africa, Europe, Latin America, the U.S. Most farming is sustained by cattle ranching with it. And cows are so magic. They just eat grass and you get all this good stuff from milk, cheese, butter, beef.
Beef-eating populations are on average several inches taller than the agrarian cultures nearby.
Cows are so magic. They just eat grass and you get all this good stuff from milk, cheese, butter, beef. If you can take cows away from people, which are doing in the Netherlands and Ireland.
Bro,
and Sri Lanka,
I've seen people forcing cats. I've seen vegan, like those vegan cat women.
In some cases, there's also just converting the fields where the cow used to graze. It can't be done everywhere, but in some cases it can, into crops. And so if you reduce demand for meat, in simplest terms, you can think of it this way. Some fields where cow used to graze will now grow wheat, and that increases the supply of wheat and reduces food inflation that way. The price of beef also falls because demand has fallen for beef because of vegans.
Forcing cats to be vegan, which is fucking ridiculous because cats are 100% carnivore.
That doesn't work. Dogs too. They're incredibly unhealthy if you try to have them not eat meat.
Oh, to be cat, they're built to only eat meat. Cats. They're not like dogs. Like dogs can eat like both, like plants and animals. Like dogs are omnivores.
But this is one example that it's sort of amazing me that he's come this far. He's been at this so long, but doesn't realize that this right here, what he's talking about. He said for 60 years they've tried us to stop eating meat. Well, 60 years is about the same that 60 years ago that they really started trying to defend the dollar. It was they started. Going into 1960s and 1970s is when the race to defend the dollar started, and then the race is to reduce inflation to prop up the dollar. It tracks with that. In fact, he doesn't understand that this push to have people eat less meat has to do with the dollar and inflation. Well, he still has some things to learn.
Cats specifically are carnivores.
Away from people, which are doing in the Netherlands and Ireland and Sri Lanka, farming totally collapses. And that's what Bill Gates wants, to make you eat synthetic fake meat grown from the tumors called an immortal cell line of Henrietta Lacks, a dead black lady. You just throw a chunk of her tumor in, they've created hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds of her meat. And you just throw a chunk in with whatever you want. You throw a chunk of her tumors in with, say, duck cells, and you'll grow a gigantic vat in just a few weeks of duck cells, because it's a cancer cell, but it takes over and replicates that same cell. That's a dumb down way of saying it, but that's how it works. You can throw a chunk of her cells in, just a cup of it, in with salmon, and you'll grow a giant vat of fake salmon, but it's cancer cells you're eating. Wait till those don't all get killed by the acid in your stomach and guts and get into your colon. Get ready for some colon cancer, which is in the studies. So that's how insane this is. I go on for 100 hours with just other little insane factoids. Like all your cars have kill switches, and AI is watching you right now if you have a new car. Mainstream news, finally. People finally listen. Sounded crazy when I warned you. So that's the
I don't have a new car, so I don't need to worry about that.
plan. So about 15 years ago, the Club of Rome came out, and then about 8 years ago again, and then about 5 years ago, S. Matthew Lau of the World Economic Forum.
Israel is on the cutting edge when it comes to fake meat. Isn't everyone happy about that?
This professor came out and said, we can put in a tick a disease where you'll be given an autoimmune response to beef, and you'll never be able to eat beef again. Beef are bad because cows fart, that hurts the earth, which isn't true. You know, the AI can have all the water and all the energy in the nuclear reactors it wants, but you can't eat steak because you're bad. You pass gas, you pass methane, cows pass methane. That's what holds the atmosphere in. That's good. Methane's part of the atmosphere. But they're teaching you you're bad, carbon-based life's bad, silicon's good.
These anti-spiral fucks,
In a
man.
couple speeches 6 years ago, and then 5 years ago, and said we can.
It's
give you this
nonsense.
disease. Well, Bill Gates was already here and around the world open air testing ticks with Lyme's disease with this added pathogen to give you a beef allergy. And now the Lone Star tick is exploding everywhere. 60 Minutes is reporting on it. CNN's reporting on it. Oh, suddenly this new thing born by the tick is beef allergies, and people are dying that eat beef after they're bitten by the tick. So Bill Gates is saying, hey, you're not going to put billions into fake lab-grown beef that doesn't have the allergies. It's not really beef. Boy, he sure knew what he was doing, didn't he? And then right on time, Pfizer seeks to introduce Lyme's vaccine as states face worst tick season ever. Increase in alpha-gal syndrome meat. How many years ago did I tell you? Decades ago, alpha-gal syndrome is coming. Told you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Did dozens of shows the last few years saying, watch, it's spreading everywhere. Ticks are showing up thousands of miles of where they were. They're being dropped out. Turns out the CIA developed this at Plum Island. I'll show you the news articles. They took the Nazi scientists at Plum Island off New York after World War II, weaponized syphilis, called it Lyme's disease, put it in the ticks. Now they've added this other pathogen with it, and the syphilis is the carrier for the alpha-gal syndrome.
Jeez.
What foods can trigger reactions? Beef, pork, lamb, venison. Not as likely, but poultry, fish, eggs, most dairy. Well, that'll cure you of that, won't it? Which makes your brain smaller, makes you lower IQ.
Soylent Green
and you
vibes
don't
is
eat
right now. Dude,
high-protein
that's just nasty.
animal products. So they mean business. Here's Matthew Liao, the professor, talking about this a few years ago.
So I'll give 2 examples. So one is that people eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they
Dude, Soylent was all the rage like back in the day. I remember, man. Everyone was into that shit. Not me, but your scientists are so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they never stop to think about if they should.
would it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And there's some people are
It's
intolerant to
absolutely
crazy. So
crazy.
possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick.
This is an article I wrote back in 2011. It just loads. Fish fraud, fabricated steaks, and other SF schemes behind cheap food. Substitute inferior food. They've been trying to do it like fish fraud. Like you think you're buying one type of fish, but it's actually a different one. And again, all these are widespread, and they can be widespread because the media doesn't cover them, and so they can continue. Then you have like pink slime. Food fraud is a busy business. Yep. Any case, yeah.
Where if it bites you, you will become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
Yeah, that's your social credit score. Bill Gates' back lab-grown meat company receives USDA approval. Here's when you can expect to taste this new protein delicacy. Look at these headlines. Human engineering to fight against climate change. Give you alpha-gal syndrome. Talk about a social credit score. Talk about it.
Yeah. Here's the link to that if you want to have a look.
Sadek Zero.
Enslavement. Tim Pool says the Lone Star tick is spreading rapidly and can make you allergic to beef. The good news is that thanks to billions in lab-grown meat investment, an alternative can be grown that won't trigger the allergy.
What a perfect coincidence. I know,
Yes,
man.
Tim Pool sees the pattern.
Seeing lots of visits of tick bites. Here's what to know. Beef allergies. Alpha-gal syndrome from Lone Star tick bites, an emerging public health concern in Massachusetts. Pfizer seeks to
God,
interdict tick
look at that.
bites. Here's what to know. Beef allergies.
Bro,
Alpha-gal syndrome from Lone Star tick
look at that Minecraft ass meat. Jeez.
Terrible.
Emerging public health concern in Massachusetts. Pfizer seeks to introduce Lyme vaccine, and the states face worst tick season ever, increase in alpha-gal syndrome meat allergies. A second death from tick-borne meat allergy. Off the menu, the first death from a tick-borne meat allergy.
First death. That death from government's desire to reduce food inflation. Literally killing people.
They used peanut protein to grow vaccines in the 80s and 90s, created a giant peanut allergy. See, same thing.
Wait, is that real?
Simple.
Is that what happened? Is that what happened with peanut? Is that real? Is that Is that what happened with peanut allergies? What? Dude,
And
that's
now the
crazy.
similar
That's
vaccine
true.
will do it. Oh, you won't get
I
Lyme
didn't know
disease,
about that.
syphilis, but you can't eat meat. Isn't that loving and liberal? So they're throwing it all in your face, ladies and gentlemen.
Ugh.
TikTok, it's only a matter of time before dangerous tick disease reaches causes of disaster, if it isn't already. Climate change could re-engineer humans. BBC. Then how ticks became bioweapons. Spectator. How the CIA weaponized them. They admit the CIA did it. See how that works? See how that
Yep.
works? How long ago did I tell you this was going to happen? Over a decade. Because I had experts on exposing it all. That's
mean,
Bill Gates. And what you do, he releases weaponized mosquitoes in Florida,
Alex
in Texas,
Jones
in Brazil.
does get the scoops
And
early.
he just explode. He wants to
Could
be
be another
popular.
Alex
He wants
Jones.
He does get the scoops early. I will say one thing is he gets scoop early by scooping everything always, even if he scoops some wrong stuff. If you scoop everything, you're more likely to get the scoop early. But he gets a lot of good scoops, so he is somewhat discerning, but without the alien stuff and equivalents, yeah.
you take a
Right
shot
jar.
so you don't die. That doesn't make any sense.
Remember the whole meatpacking bullshit
Roman
from the Gilded
endless.
Age?
By the way, he's not shut down. InfoWars might be off for now, but he already has another site, Alex Jones Network. Yep, I am sure people watch InfoWars for Alex Jones. If he moves, people will follow. But it will disrupt. Some people won't know where to go, and it'll hurt his audience for a little bit having to switch. It's not great.
I thought we were past the shit. It says
The
right now.
victor
Listen,
is not victorious if the vanquished does not consider himself. A nicer way to say what I said earlier, that you're not defeated until you tell yourself you're defeated. Let me do over a shot of this. The victor is not victorious if the vanquished does not consider himself so. And we are far from that. It is the contrary. So there is the reality of that as they bomb us with ticks and mosquitoes and everything else. How much of this are we going to put up with? How
Jeez.
long are we going to put up with the reign of the mad scientists?
Just Pizzagate and then this SPLC funding right-wing things. Just those two have added so much credibility to Alex Jones recently. It's great. So you have leaflets, like she said, more willing to believe what Alex Jones is pushing. And that's mostly a good thing. But the thing is, makes me cringe is I recently watched, she was reacting to what he said about aliens. And I had not realized some of the things Alex Jones had said about aliens. So I think Alex Jones is a great guy and gets most of the stuff right, but just always take it with a grain of salt because he gets some things wrong sometimes. Anyway, this will be on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Come watch on Kick or Twitch. And I'll see you next video. Bye.